I must ask, what does being a Grey Warden mean to you? There's that, of course. But there's more to being a Grey Warden than killing Darkspawn and saving the world from the Blight. Ultimately, being a Grey Warden is about serving others, about serving all people, whether elves or dwarves or men. As a Grey Warden, you are a guardian of men, and you guard them because their continued existence is more important than you are. Thus it is you who serves, not they. A good king, a true king who cares for his land, uses his power to rule firmly but fairly. He serves his people first and foremost. The king who does not do this, who believes that he is entitled to his power, who abuses it and uses it for his own means, is a tyrant. If you live apart from others, and your actions affect only you, then you may do as you wish. But if you have power, influence, and strength, your every action will be as a drop of water in a clear, still pond. The drop causes ripples, and ripples spread. Think of how far they will go, how wide they will become, how will they affect the pond. But I've lectured enough for today. I should stop before I wear out my welcome.
So, you found something other than Darkspawn to occupy your time, haven't you? You and Morrigan are... I saw her going into your tent last night. I didn't think she was there to tell you a bedtime story. Oh, how glib. I suppose you expect me to laugh and forget about you and Morrigan. She was... You are... You're giving her... I mean, you're wading through her swamp. You know what I mean. You were intimate. Jealous? You think I'm jealous? Don't flatter yourself. I am more concerned about the ramifications of your dalliance. Your relationship might affect our entire group, don't you think? If suddenly she is more important to you than the rest of us, you could take unnecessary risks for her, putting us all in danger. We'll see how much your word counts for then. Only time will tell.
I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Do you mind if I ask? Zevran, the elf. You can't trust him, can you? Do you believe his so-called vow? Then why bring him along? Don't you think he might try to kill you again? Maybe he's just biding his time. Well, at least you're considering the possibility. He just seems shifty to me. What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. Creepy. And he's so quiet for someone so big. Yet he doesn't seem quite so bad as the Chantry tells us. According to them, his philosophy is vile and evil. Yet he seems so reasonable. And yet, he killed all those people. He doesn't even deny it. Doesn't that bother you? I'm not so sure that his regret means the same as it would for us. The Kunari sense of honor is... it's a bit hard to grasp. For me, anyway. What about Liliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really believe in her vision? That's one way to put it. I noticed that you and her have become... close. Am I right? The rest of us have talked about it. You think we have better things to do than gossip about you? You give us far too much credit. Is it true or not? I thought so. Well, I hope you know what you're doing. I don't know what to make of her. If you look at her when she doesn't see you, she just looks so sad. I almost feel guilty taking her away from her life. Yes, I know. Still, I feel badly for her. Morrigan, do you trust her? Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent her with us for some other reason than she said. Well, aside from the fact that she's a complete and utter bitch, no, I don't like her at all. Why, do you? Sure. Beautiful, just like something that's also dangerous, like a beautiful, dangerous thing. Oh, I give up. Do what you want. Just tell me one thing. Is it true what the others say? Do you have a thing going with Morrigan? Tell me it's not true. You think we have better things to do all day than talk about you? Come on, tell me it's not true. Oh, someone's a little touchy, eh? Attacking my manhood and everything. That must mean it's true. Well, fine. It's your funeral. Enough. I think my curiosity is sated. Let's get back to it, shall we?
Yes, its adventures are interesting, even if the chances for success are remarkably slim. It would be better to throw oneself off a cliff, I suspect. Does it wish me to leave? I can, though I see no reason to go. No doubt. Without me, it would have to carry its inventory on its own. Perhaps we should continue. Its chances of success are small enough without further dawdling.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Elden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. It's not really a matter of wanting to go back. I cannot go. At least not yet. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable? Oh, I have never seen that place. I am sure it has its charms, and its dogs. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else. Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not. Quite right you are. I see the Grey Wardens do not recruit fools. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Stop right there, outsider. The Dalish have camped in this spot. I suggest you go elsewhere, and quickly. I find that hard to believe. What business could we Dalish possibly have with a group like yours? Seeing as you are obviously no simple trespasser, I will leave it to the Keeper to decide the importance of your business. In the camp, I suggest you keep your hands to yourself, and remember that our arrows are still trained on you. Follow me.
I see we have guests. And a hound amongst them. As if we haven't had enough problems with such creatures. Who are these strangers, Mithra? I have precious little patience and less time to spend on outsiders today.
I understand, but this one claims to have important business with our people.
I see. Tell me, stranger, what business could you possibly have with us? We have our own issues we must deal with, as you can see. You might have simply said so to begin with. Masirinus, Mithra, you may return to your post.
Manuvinen, Keeper.
Now, allow me to introduce myself. I am Zafrian, the keeper of this clan, its guide and preserver of our ancient lore. And you are? Manners. From a Shemlin. Interesting. What might be your mission here? Have you come to spread news of the Blight? I had already sensed the corruption spreading in the south. The existence of the Blight is not news to me. I would have taken the clan north by now, had we the ability to move. Sadly, as you can see, we do not.
So their first reaction to trouble is to flee from it. Curious.
I imagine you are here regarding the treaty we signed centuries ago. Unfortunately, we may not be able to live up to the promise we made. This will require some explanation. Please, follow me. The clan came to the Brazilian forest 1 month ago, as is our custom when we enter this part of Ferelden. We are always wary of the dangers in the forest, but we did not expect the werewolves would be lying in wait for us. They ambushed us. And though we drove the beasts back, much damage was done. Many of our warriors lie dying as we speak, even with all our magic and healing skill. We will eventually be forced to slay our brethren to prevent them from becoming beasts. The Blight's evil must be stopped. But we are in no position to uphold our obligations. I am truly sorry. They are savage and unrelenting. They need no reason to attack anyone. What is curious, however, is the ambush. We expect werewolves to be no more cunning than a rabid wolf. The ambush suggests a level of intelligence we've never seen before. I doubt that. The very curse that is in their blood fills them with an unreasoning rage that precludes any true thought. The affliction is a curse that runs rampant in their blood, bringing great agony and then ultimately either death or a transformation into something monstrous. The only thing that could help them must come from the source of the curse itself, and that would be no trivial task to retrieve. Within the Brazilian forest dwells a great wolf. We call him Witherfang. It was within him that the curse originated, and through his blood that it has been spread. If he is killed and his heart brought to me, perhaps I could destroy the curse. But this task has proven too dangerous for us. I sent some hunters into the forest a week ago, but they have not returned. I cannot risk any more of my clan. From whom? The Children of the Stone? The Shemlin? Do you truly think they have time to spare for us? There is no guarantee that this will work, as I suspect. But it's the only hope we have left. I must warn you that more than werewolves lurk in the Brazilian forest. It has a history full of carnage and murder, you see. Where there is so much death, the veil separating the spirit realm from our own becomes thin, allowing spirits to possess things, living or dead. But if you can indeed help, then I wish you luck. Make them quick, if you please. I have much to do here. My apprentice Lanaya or Sayrel, the clan's storyteller, could provide you with answers just as easily. Watch for the white wolves. They are his eyes and ears in the forest. There is not much to say. It stemmed originally from Witherfang, but now any werewolf may infect someone with it. No. The ones from this forest, however, do. It is possible, but not guaranteed. The only way to protect against the curse is not to be bitten. You will know within a matter of days. You will begin to sweat and vomit, and most tellingly, your temper will become wild and uncontrollable. If that happens to you, you should seek out Witherfang even more swiftly. Your mission at that point will be rather personal. That is a long tale I do not have time to tell. Ask Sayrel about it if you wish. Go on then. I must return to caring for my people. Creator's speed on your way.
Looking for little old me? People have always spoken of dark and mysterious woods haunted by beings unseen. The Brazilian forest is one such forest. They say the veil is thin here, and spirits from the fade pass over, drifting through the trees and giving them an unnatural and sinister intelligence. It is said that if you feel you are being watched in the Brazilian forest, you are. Looking for little old me? Yes? What's on your mind? Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think. Which one? I have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in a land of their own. The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no chantry. This angered the chantry, and the hostility between the two factions finally broke out in open war. The chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. There were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
Ooh, frilly.
At least they have chosen freedom over subjugation. Better hardship and danger than slavery.
I must say, I thought the Dalish would be much harder to find. Do you think this clan find them?
Under an Etitian Grey Warden. My name is Lanaya. I am Zathrian's first, what you might call an apprentice, perhaps. I've been studying under the Keeper all my life. I am a bit curious of the outside world. Do you mind if I ask you a question or two? What an odd thing to say. I mean about the outside world, of course. I hear the human cities are very large, thousands upon thousands of souls all packed together in their houses. Is that true? How very loud that must be with everyone talking all at once. I try to imagine those of our people living in such a place, surrounded by walls of stone and indifference. It is a difficult thought. Being accustomed to pain and suffering does not make it any less tragic. It is said that one day we will have a land of our own. We Dalish gather the ancient wisdom in preparation for this. When that day comes, all elves, even those who have forgotten, will reclaim their former glory. I have a question, if it's not too impolite to ask. Do your people regret what they did to ours? I see. That is difficult for our people to accept. Even if only some were in favor of what was done to us, the rest did nothing to stop it. A poet once wrote of them, before the fall of the Dales. Like dragons they fly, glory upon wings. Like dragons, they savage, fearsome, pretty things. But you don't need me to quote poetry to you. Forgive me. Perhaps you have some questions of your own. I'm hardly anyone special, I assure you. If I seem different from the rest of my clan, it's only because I was born amongst humans. I came to the Dalish at a very young age, but I've always retained my curiosity about the world I came from. My parents were servants to a human merchant whose caravans plied the southern routes. One day, bandits killed him, and my parents both. I was the only survivor, just a young girl, and the bandits took me. I was their servant for several years. It was. The long years of reflection have allowed me to come to terms with it, to put them in perspective. I can only imagine what would have happened had the clan not saved me from them. I owe them my life for that, and more. The bandits killed a scout when the clan passed near their camp. When the clan discovered him, Zathrian came looking for his killers. He followed their tracks for almost a month, and when he finally caught up to us, he fell on the bandits like a terror. No one could stop him. I sat there and I watched him attack them in a blur, and I reveled in every blow. When he saw me, the fury in his eyes turned to pity. He took me back to the clan, and I've been here ever since. It's possible I might have had some, maybe many. Zathrian offered to take me back, but I had no idea where I was from, and I wanted to stay with a man who rescued me. The clan is my family. Any others out there? It's best they believe that little girl died with her parents. For now, the clan is all I need. My old world could not have offered me all this, and the knowledge of a keeper as well. Perhaps one day, when I am keeper, I might inquire out of curiosity. I'm not sure what lies down that road except pain, however. I am not a keeper. I am Zathrian's first. Though because I was not born into the clan, becoming his first was very difficult. We Dalish have old traditions. The clans come from the ranks of the nobility that once ruled the Dales, you see. The keepers of those old clans have the strongest and purest blood that reaches back to the days of Arlathan. I had to compete against the other candidates for first, to be better than them in everything, simply because I was not of the old blood. I am. The ceremony where Zathrian anointed me as his first was the proudest day of my life. The clan has placed great trust in me. One day, I will lead them and be the one who secures our future. A keeper is, first and foremost, the leader of the clan. He decides where we go and when we shall move. He's also responsible for knowing the clan's ancient lore and passing it on to the others in the clan. Without a keeper, the clan's knowledge is lost forever, so the clan protects him like no other. They have reason. Since the days of Arlathan, my people have been either subjugated or homeless. That was our second homeland. Our first was the great city of Arlathan. The Dales came when they were freed from enslavement. Elves everywhere journeyed hundreds and thousands of miles to the Dales, eager to start their lives anew. They called it the Long Walk. They reached the Dales and made it their own. And one day it was taken from us too, and you wonder why we are hostile. Aren't you? You're human, and to many of them, you represent the humiliations our people have suffered for generations. You may not have been personally responsible, but such feelings are not easily overruled by logic or fairness. I was not born here, so I see things differently from the others. Still, I do not blame them for what they feel. Perhaps this may change one day, but I believe the humans would have to take the first steps, if they are capable. It requires an individual to prove he is not the outsider we have come to expect. Your own task to help our clan is certainly a step in the right direction. It was our ancestral home, long ago when the humans first came to these lands. We were free then, and immortal. We did not know how to deal with the humans, and in the end, they turned their power against us and destroyed Arlathan. Our ancestors were enslaved, and our culture lost forever. Not to my knowledge. According to the old tales, the human mages sank Arlathan into the ground, crushing it beneath the rock. Yes, after a millennium of slavery, Andraste herself freed our people, she who was your maker's chosen. We worship the creators, as we always have. We give thanks to Andraste for her part in our freedom, but we do not worship her, or her god. The Tevinter Imperium was a force to be reckoned with. It was ruled by mages with powerful blood magic. Though Arlathan fought, they lost. They died, but not of an aged body as other races do. Not until the humans came. According to the legends, association with humans caused us to quicken. Our blood sped, and we began to age. So we avoided them naturally. And then we were enslaved by them for 1,000 years. And in so doing, we all were quickened permanently and our immortality destroyed. Or so the old tales say. In time, and with seclusion, We Dalish have lengthy lifespans, and they will get longer. Zathrian himself has lived many centuries, though that is unusual even for us. Shemlin, we call them. Quick children. I suppose it takes a certain arrogance to look upon another people as children, no? Perhaps we should be more heedful of our own role in Orlathan's loss. Even so, it was a bitter lesson to learn. One we are not grateful for. Certainly. Nothing that you could not ask Zathrian himself. He is the keeper of this clan and has been for a very long time. He is also a very good man who has lost much. The Dalish are everything to him, and he would do anything to protect them. He lost his family a very long time ago. I don't know the story, but I understand the circumstances were horrific. As you wish. Darth Shiro.
Hello? Of course. I'm very sorry. It's just that we don't get many visitors. Like you, I mean. Of your kind. Oh, of course. It's just that they don't... I mean, you don't... Oh, I should start over. I am Kamen, a hunter apprentice. Though I wish I could become a real hunter. I shouldn't be talking about this to an outsider. You wouldn't understand. I suppose there's no harm in it. It's not like you can help me.
Are all these Baz such cringing, ineffectual creatures?
I've been an apprentice for too long. To become a true hunter, I must bring back the pelt of a beast I killed myself. A boar or a wolf or something. I wanted to hunt in the forest, but we're forbidden to enter because of the attack. But the real problem is Gaina. She's my heart's desire. I have asked for her hand, but she cruelly refuses it. She will not bond with an apprentice, she says, and calls me a child. I am no child. If I was a hunter, I could prove it, but I cannot hunt, and Gaina will never bond with me. I feel so helpless. I shouldn't have brought it up. Just leave me to my misery. I don't think there's anything I can tell you. My clanmates in the camp would be better at that. Oh, what do you want now? I told you everything already. You think I haven't thought about this? There's nothing I can do. I suppose you could, but what good would that do? The situation hasn't changed. Really? I'm willing to try anything. Cyranas, oh ma Cyranas, I will pray to the goddess of love that you are successful.
Andaran Atishan, outsider. You spoke to him? What did he say? Oh. I don't expect an outsider to understand our ways, but I just can't bond with Kamen. He's been a hunter apprentice for over 2 years now, and he's yet to slay a proper beast. Each time he's tried, something has gone wrong. Perhaps the creators do not wish us to bond. I cannot bond with an apprentice hunter, can I? But what if he never becomes a proper hunter? What will become of our family? Oh, you are right! I have made poor Kamen miserable. No wonder he cannot complete his hunt. Masiranas, thank you. You have helped me put this into perspective. I will go and speak to Kamen. Kamen, I have been a fool.
Gaina? What do you mean? Have you changed your mind?
I have.
The outsider has helped me to see that I was wrong. I have made you miserable, and I should not have.
But what about my hunt?
I don't care about that. I know you will pass your hunt in time, and we will be happy. Us and our children.
Thank you, Gaina. You've made me a happy man. I feel blessed by the gods today. We are both very grateful for the part you've played in bringing us together.
How marvelous you are. I am so happy.
This is so wonderful. Young love allowed to flourish.
Does anyone else feel the urge to vomit? No? 'Tis just me?
Here, take this. It's been in my family for a very long time, but I hope it plays some part in your battle against the Darkspawn. It's the very least we could do.
Those Hala certainly are proud and beautiful. It's as though they realize how special they are.
Ugh, what is that smell? Must we muck about in the animal pens now?
I don't want to know.
Who comes? Oh, beg your pardon, stranger. I was so busy attending to the Hala, I did not hear your approach. They are the noble beasts that pull our Aravel, what humans call landships. They are our companions and our guides. I have seen your horses. The relationship is different, as is the purpose. We ride the Hala, but never with reins or a saddle. It is the Hala who decide where to lead us, and our privilege that they take our Aravel with them. In return, it's the herder's job to speak to the Hala and care for their needs. It's a bond of friendship, and not servitude. I fear she may have been bitten during the werewolf attack. I have tried speaking with her, but she is too agitated for me to understand. The curse would not affect her as it would us, but it would still be lethal. And it may prove contagious to the other Hala as well. I can find no wound on her, but if she's truly ill, then I will have to put her out of her misery, for her sake as well as that of the others. I don't know. Do you have any skills that might help her? If you do, I would be grateful. No, I'm sorry. She isn't calming any more around you than she is for me. And? What do you think? I am glad you attempted it regardless. I will watch her for a while longer and see if her condition changes. I am grateful for your assistance, friend.
Hello. I'm not afraid of you. I'm a great
Hammond
Gaelic
should have
warrior.
become a full hunter first. But it is worth it to see a little happiness in the clan.
Andera Natishan, stranger. I am Athras. I hope the others have not been too harsh in their treatment of you. That is very generous of you. Most would assume we are unkind as a rule, and that is not the case. Especially not to a Grey Warden. But we have lost much, and it is easy to forget simple niceties at such a time. I understand you will search for the wolves in the Brazilian forest. I would join you, but Zathrian has forbidden me. None of us are happy about this situation, and I least of all. But I shouldn't speak too much about this, especially with an outsider. I am sure you have little interest in my problems. It's odd to talk so freely with a stranger, but perhaps you can help me. My wife Denilah and I both fought the werewolves in the ambush. She was injured so gravely, the curse spread rapidly in her. Zathrian fought hard to ease her pain, but there was little he could do. And though he says that Denilah is dead, he will not let me see her body. I am beginning to believe she became a werewolf, and that it is being kept from me so I do not go chasing after her.
I would not allow any to keep me from my goal.
Going out there could cause another attack, and I wish no harm upon my clan.
This I understand. To hold the group over the individual is worthy. An unexpected trait in your kind.
If I could just know if Delilah is alive or what happened to her, then I could be at peace. I have an amulet made by our craftsman. It's not much, but I would be happy to give it to you in return for any news.
What are you doing? You've warped the wood completely. Did you leave it out in the rain?
No, Master Ferrothorn. I think I just used too much heat.
You're not smelting ore like a Durgenlin. This is living wood. It requires patience and delicate hands, not more heat.
My actions bring me sorrow, Master Ferrothorn.
And so they should. Truly the art will be lost to us forever at this rate. Throw away your dead wood and start anew, and I shall speak to our guest. Now then, please forgive my distraction, stranger. Is there something that you need? I'm the clan's craftsmaster. It's my responsibility to learn what I can of the ancient elven arts of shaping wood and ore. In truth, we Dalish know little of the art compared to what we once did. And even what we know has taken us many lifetimes to achieve. There is wood that, if treated properly, is as hard as steel but far lighter. It grows only in this forest, Ironbark. The Keeper has forbidden us from entering the forest to collect the wood. This means I cannot make our finest crafts for years to come. I would be hesitant to ask it of you, but if you should come across Ironbark, I suppose there would be no harm in gathering some. It is blue and very distinctive. You can only harvest the bark which has fallen off the tree from age. Now, if you find some, bring it to me, and I will craft it for you. That would please me, so long as our hunters come first. I am no merchant, but let us trade. Perhaps there's something here which will be of value to you.
Stop that.
Stop what?
That. Looking at me and giggling.
I can't help it. You're so big and stoic. Who would have thought you'd be a big softy?
Stop saying that. I am a soldier of the Beresad. I am not a softy.
Softy.
I hate humans.
I trust there are no hard feelings about my questioning of you when you arrived. We Dalish must protect ourselves from trouble at all times. You might have just told me you were a Grey Warden and saved me the grief, though I suppose I can hardly blame your caution. But I wish you good fortune with your task. Dareth Shiral.
Well.
Gaina and Cammon together, I see. Strange that you should take the time to involve yourself in that affair, of all things. I know a few tales. Our clan has passed this way many times before, even when the Shemlin lived in these parts. You wish? I can tell you what I know. It is not a long story. Our legends say that before the Shemlin came, the Brazilian forest was a place of our ancestors that predated even our oldest homeland. The people of the Imperium came here and gave the forest its name. If they found traces of our ancestors, we cannot say. If they did, those elves were slain or enslaved. We know only that a great many battles were fought here. These trees grow upon the graves of those who fell, Shemlin and elves both. Indeed. Very wise of you. There was so much death that the veil into the beyond. The Shemlin know the beyond as the Fade, the place of dreams and spirits. When the veil is torn, spirits pass into our world freely. The legends say that one great spirit possessed the wolf that became Witherfang, who passed its curse of rage onto men and created werewolves. So Zathrian insists. He says that Witherfang does not age, as the werewolves do. Witherfang is as much spirit as it is beast, and thus it is immortal. Perhaps it cannot even be slain, At the very least, it is old and powerful, much as Zathrian himself. The forest is said to be haunted. Spirits possess the trees, the wolves, even the bodies of the dead. They yearn for true life, you see. Who can say what value the Imperium placed on this land? And how many elves died here, in slavery? Even the barbarians, who came to overthrow the Imperium, fought and died on this soil. No one knows. When the Shemlin lived in these parts, the curse would spread anew to a few of them with each passing year. They would run off into the forest, never to be seen again. Eventually, all the Shemlin left. One assumes the werewolves survive by passing their curse to their offspring. They have had no new blood. Until now, that is. It is said that one or two have turned already, though the Keeper denies it. As for the rest, they will either die or turn, unless they are killed out of mercy. I would rather die than become a ravening, soulless beast. Wouldn't you? One last warning. The forest is like a thing alive. It changes as it wills, closing paths behind you and opening up new ones. Too many have become lost within, unable to find their way out. Were I you, I would endeavor not to make the forest my enemy. Dareth Shiral.
More forests. Here I thought I had left the wilds behind for good.
This is like my home in Saharon, but the fiends here are only monsters.
They say the veil is thin here, and all manner of strange things may be seen.
Begun.
The Watchwolves have spoken truly, my brothers and sisters. The Dalish sent a human of all things to repay us for our attack, to put us in our place. What bitter irony. Do you take us for fools? We know you come from their camp outside the forest. No doubt the old Keeper himself sent you. You speak to Swift Runner. I lead my cursed brothers and sisters. Turn back now. Go back to the Dalish and tell them that you have failed. Tell them we will gladly watch them suffer the same curse we have suffered for too long. We will watch them pay. Was it not Zathrian who sent you? He wishes only our destruction, never to talk. We have never met, he and I. He would not survive the experience. I swear it. You know nothing, do you? Nothing of us, and even less of those you serve. You are a fool, and we are done talking. Run from the forest while you can. Run to the Dalish and tell them they are doomed. I do not wish to fight you either, but we cannot trust you. Come, brothers and sisters, let us retreat. The forest has eyes of its own, and it will deal with intruders as it always has.
As you say. Who comes? We were sent to find Witherfang, bring his heart. Attacked. You healed me with magic. I suppose you must have. Thank you. I only vaguely remember you finding me. I am very lucky that you did, I think. You are human, obviously. It is strange to receive aid from a human, but I am grateful. I am just a simple hunter of my clan, Dagon of the Dalish. Obviously, my clan must know of you. Might I ask who you are? A pleasure to make your acquaintance, then. We were in the forest searching for Witherfang. We found traces, but made no sighting of the beast itself. We were not a day into the forest when we were ambushed by a group of werewolves. We did not expect them to be so cunning. I managed to crawl away during battle. I expect the others are dead. At least I was not bitten. No, I am certain I can make it safely back to my people alone. But thank you for the offer. That would be wise. I must speak with the Keeper.
Yes?
Elder Tree. Ah, yes. I were thy kind, so brief of life, and all but blind to the peril you cause, the lives you take. Such chaos is sown within thy wake. Allow me a moment to welcome thee. I am called the Grand Oak, sometimes the Elder Tree.
It rhymes? 'Tis a rhyming tree. I can only imagine what manner of spirit is involved here.
Wow.
And unless thou think'st it far too soon, might I ask of thee a boon? I do not know. Why dost thou not? Thy words seem plain, a mundane lot. Perhaps a poet's soul's in me. Does that make me a poetry? It was but a simple jest, a jibe to entertain my guest. I am an elder oak and nothing more. Though once I dreamt of a time before when I roamed the world and howled with pain, not of this world, but twixt and twain. Perhaps I was a spirit then, a wandering thing drawn to this glen. But then that spirit joined with a tree. Since then, a tree is all I be. Of the Sylvans, this is true. They are quite mad, their virtues few. A spirit trapped within a tree, no mouth to scream, nor eyes to see. A cage of bark, a prison wood, a thing of rage where nature stood. So twisted Sylvan they become, but I am not the same as some. I accept my fated oaken home. I feel no need to rage and roam. I can only speak to what a tree may see. It may not help you, but it is enough for me. That is but a human name, one placed upon this land, their claim. A claim they stole from ancient elves, whom they first killed, and were killed themselves. It was the elves who planted the seeds, raised the forest, saw to its needs. But that was all so long ago. That they are dead is all I know. A great war, perhaps, I cannot tell. I was not here when it befell, but many deaths here, all the same. And with the deaths, the spirits came. The spirits entered corpse and tree, and most went mad, as thou canst see. The forest had a spirit of its own, from back when its first seeds were sown. Perhaps she died of grief that day, or perhaps she simply went away. Or perhaps the wares are the ones to blame, for the day she left is the day they came. I speak as clearly as I see. Plainer than this, I cannot be. Most of what was is overgrown, leaving only broken stone. Perhaps some ruins remain free of rot. I know not where, I see them not. In the center of the forest, the wares do dwell, or so go the tales my fellows tell. But they cannot be followed there. The forest doth protect the wares. Perhaps wares use magic to command the trees. All I know is they move as they please. Perform the boon as I ask, and I shall reward thee for the task. I have but one desire, to solve a matter very dire. As I slept one early morn, a thief did come and steal an acorn. All I have is my being, my seed. Without it, I am alone indeed. I cannot go and seek it out, yet I shall die if left without. It was stolen by a human man. Deep within these woods he ran. Woods that I could travel there. I teach the fool to soon beware. Go to the east to find this man. I shall await. Do what thou can.
Oh my, did this belong to the elven hunters? I'm surprised the fire hasn't burned out of control. Lucky for us, perhaps.
How odd. A camp with no campers, complete with fire and warm blankets. Rather inviting, would you not say?
No tracks. Whoever built this must still be here.
You wish to leave already? Why?
We going? My feet are so sore. If we're careful, we could use this camp, couldn't we? Could it be that bad?
Oh, I am suddenly feeling quite drained. Do you feel that? Is the forest doing that? A hungry spirit luring those who pass to their rest and their doom. One might wonder how it learned this trick. No matter, it shall prey on no one else.
How awful. All those people lured by a demon of sloth. It is a good thing we escaped its clutches.
I'm trying to be
you trying to do, woman?
I was not attempting to do anything, and do not speak to me in that tone.
With the Warden.
Ah, did you desire a demonstration?
Do you believe you can control him? Did your magic fail you there?
You have no idea what you speak of, Canary.
Perhaps not, but I know a viper when I see one.
Wait. We are back at the beginning of the path. The forest, it seems, does not wish us to reach wherever the path leads.
As you say. Shall be done. As you say. Shall be done.
Oh dear, oh dear. Not a werewolf and not a spirit even. What are the woods coming to? Mayhap I did and mayhap I didn't. Have you come to claim it back? Oh, what fun. But we are getting ahead of ourselves already. Ask a question and you'll get a question, but give an answer and you'll receive the same. Oh, I do so love to trade. No, that is not a question. And if it be an answer, it'd be an answer to a question I've not asked. Have you no sense for the rules?
Be cautious. This is no ordinary madman. He has powerful magic.
No fair bringing mages to a guessing game. Will you play by the rules or not? I think it is your turn to ask, is it not? It's where the wolfmen have their lair, but the trees will block the path. There's a way to fool the trees, of course. Trees are thick, wooden things after all, easily fooled if you know how. Oh my, no, that's quite a question. I think that answer deserves something a little extra first, don't you? I stole something from an oak tree some time ago, and it won't stop pestering me for it back. Would you be so good as to turn it into firewood or something equally dead? You know of it? Good, that makes this much easier. Yes, that's the one. It's up to you. Yes, indeedy. Your choice. Time to move on now. I think it is your turn to ask, is it not? Ah, suddenly it all becomes clear. You here, that talking tree there, it all makes sense now. As a matter of fact, yes. I do have that tree's acorn. I stole it, and it was easy. Silly tree should have locked it up tighter. If you want it, you'll have to trade me for it. And nothing from that silly tree. No leaves or branches or anything. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Now, what shall be the first? Oh, yes. What is your name? Aha, so you claim. They sent you, didn't they? But you're too tricky, and you're trying to fool me. Well, I'm on to you, just so you know. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you. Who am I? Why do you want to know? Did they send you? Did they tell you to ask? Ah! Damnation! Caught by my own rules. Oh, did they tell you to pretend to be an innocent stranger with a head full of fluff and nothing? I'm trickier than I look. Ha! I survive still, and the trees, they leave me be. Ha! I've won. They will never find me. Never. So you did. But I'm watching you. If they sent you, I'll know. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Where were you born? So you say, fiendishly clever of you to maintain this facade for so long, but I will see through it yet. Mark my words. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you. Yes, I live here, and it's not as bad as you think. Where else to go, eh? I must stay away from them. They're out there and looking. They will take your secrets, oh yes, all of them, and leave you empty. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go. May I? Oh yes, I think I might. Let's see. Do you have a knowledge of the arcane arts? If I could tell, I wouldn't have to ask you now, would I? Do you have the knowledge or not? Oh, well, that's disappointing. But wait, what if you were lying? Ah, you thought to scamper away without suspicion, did you? Well, I'm on to you. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you. Let's see. I'll trade you an acorn, a helmet I found, or a book I finished reading years ago, provided you have something interesting in return. Oh, and what do you have to trade for the acorn? Coin? What possible use could I have with coin? Do you see a money changer about? Elven history, you say? That might make for good reading by the moonlight. Or it'll be better than using leaves. Give me that. There. Now that's done. What else have you got on your agenda, May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. What is your relationship with your father? Interesting. Most interesting. So that means that you did indeed have a father. I knew I would trip you up sooner or later. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away. I dare you. Oh, yes. Yes. I still have that old helmet and the book. And what do you have to trade for the helmet? Eh? I once had a ring like that. This one's shiny still. Yes, I'll take it. Give me that. There. Now that's done. What else have you got on your agenda, May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Have you ever seen the Grand Cathedral of Val Royo? Ah, that's my business, isn't it? Have you seen it or not? Oh, really? Was it nice? Oh, yes, indeed, you are correct. Drat. I still have the book. It's not missing too many pages. Well, that's your business then, isn't it? I still answered your question, and now it's my turn again. May I? Oh, yes, I think I might. Have you ever been in love? The same as any other question. Have you been in love? Simple. Oh? How boring. Maybe they didn't send you after all. That's a bit of a relief, isn't it? All right, then. If you still have something to ask, ask away. Oh, no? Well, you just let me know if you change your mind. Run along and tell them whatever you wish. I intend to keep digging. Hold on, you. That's private property. That's an old man's home, that is. Keep out. Keep out!
No offense, but might I try? I've got a quick hand, after all. Ha, let's see. Oh, when was the last time I slipped my hand into some dark hole? I remember. Long story, that. And there we go. It was definitely trapped, but I'm too awesome by far. Here's what was inside.
You're a robber, is what you are. They sent you, didn't they? But I'll show you. They won't get away with this.
I am ready.
is still gone, so I pray to thee. Hast thou any news for me? My joy soars to new heights indeed. I am reunited with my seed. This cannot pass without reward. I shall give what little I can afford. Keep this branch of mine with thee, and pass throughout the forest free. I wish thee well, my mortal friend. Thou brought my sadness to an end. May the sunlight find you, thy days be long, thy winters kind, and thy roots be strong.
I am led to understand that the Qunari have their own mages as well. Is this so?
You would not understand.
Not understand? Is it mental capacity that you believe I lack? Or are you worried I will sympathize with my so-called brethren?
Take your pick.
Is that supposed to make me angry?
It means I find myself wishing that your people held proper, civilized attitudes towards magic.
That is a rather hostile thing to say.
And yet you continue speaking. Astonishing.
The forest has not been vigilant enough. Still you come. You are stronger than we could have anticipated. The Dalish chose well, but you do not belong here, outsider. Leave this place. You are sent by the treacherous Dalish to kill Witherfang. I will not stand by and allow that to happen. And they deserve no less. You are an intruder in our home. You come to kill, as all your kind do. We have learned this lesson well. Here, Witherfang protects us. Here we learn our names and are beloved. We will defend Witherfang and this place with our lives.
We must fight! Make him be praised!
find their way into the forest's heart. Fall back to the ruins. Protect the lady!
Ah, here we go. The werewolf lair, unless I miss my mark.
Tread lightly in the heart of the forest, for past wrongs are remembered and mourned.
No one in your country repairs anything when they occupy it, do they? More signs of the Tevinter. This place will be full of traps then, or worse.
The ruins certainly look Tevinter, but are filled with elven trappings. How very odd.
Do you think it's safe to be in here? I thought I heard a wall crumbling off in the distance.
It seems the creatures have shut us out. We will need to find another way.
It's begun.
Another Magna-Light!
Some architect clearly suffered from an unrequited love of the pointed arch.
I have a bad feeling about this passageway. Why don't we turn back?
We should prepare ourselves for combat.
Trap right ahead. No mercy!
We must do something!
Mummy? Mummy, no matter, son. Mummy! Mummy! Mummy!
Careful! I think...
I am ready.
Let's see! I think they've seen us!
We have little knowledge of the magic used by the elves of our Lathan's time. The Magisters of Tevinter were more interested in subjugating the elves than recording their history. As it is, I would hazard a guess that the object you're holding is a form of phylactery, meant to hold living essence, perhaps even a spirit of some kind.
A device meant to hold a spirit, perhaps? Such would be my guess. Though, what might be left of any spirit within after such a long time trapped?
Elf magic.
am armed.
Trap right ahead. Make him praise!
By the Maker! Here! Water shall be given.
Veran Salanon, Iranala Foros. Nay, Garan Sudale, Garan! Melashal, Melashal!
I'm ready. Send me!
Here comes
do not wish any more of our people hurt. I ask you this now, outsider. Are you willing to parley? Not with me. I have been sent to you on behalf of the lady. She believes you may not be aware of everything you should be. She means you no harm, provided your willingness to parley in peace is an honest one. What would be the point? You have already proven your strength. We have no wish to anger you further. We would not let her. We will protect our lady to our last breath. It may yet come to pass that you will kill the rest of us, but until then we will not chance her coming to harm. Swiftrunner did not think it would matter. The lady disagrees, and since you have forced your way this far, we must acquiesce to her wishes. She is not Witherfang, but she can tell you of Witherfang if you ask. But first, you must agree to parley. Follow me. But I warn you, if you break your promise and harm her, I will come back from the Fade itself to see you pay.
I bid you welcome, mortal. I am the Lady of the Forest. They come to me, and I remain with them, that is true. But I am no prisoner, nor a valuable to be guarded jealously.
Do not listen to him, lady. He will betray you. We must attack him now.
Hush, Swiftrunner. Your urge for battle has only seen the death of the very ones you've been trying to save. Is that what you want?
No, my lady. Anything but that.
And the time has come to speak with this outsider, to set our rage aside. I apologize on Swiftrunner's behalf. He struggles with his nature. Truer words were never spoken. But few could claim the same as these creatures, that their very nature is a curse forced upon them. No doubt you have questions, mortal. There are things that Zathrian has not told you. Because there are things that he would not tell. Things that you should decide for yourself, whether you need to know. It was Zathrian who created the curse that these creatures suffer. The same curse that Zathrian's own people now suffer. Centuries ago, when the Dalish first came to this land, a tribe of humans lived close to this forest. They sought to drive the Dalish away. Zathrian was a young man then. He had a son and daughter he loved greatly. And while out hunting, the human tribe captured them both.
The humans tortured the boy, killed him. The girl they raped and left for dead. The Dalish found her, but she learned later she was with child. She killed herself. Zathrian came to this ruin and summoned a terrible spirit, binding it to the body of a great wolf. So Witherfang came to be. Witherfang hunted the humans of the tribe. Many were killed, but others were cursed by his blood, becoming twisted and savage creatures.
Twisted and savage, just as Witherfang himself is.
Deceit is the nature of men.
They were driven into the forest. When the human tribe finally left for good, their cursed brethren remained, pitiful and mindless animals.
Until I found you, my lady. You gave me peace.
I showed Swiftrunner that there was another side to his bestial nature. I soothed his rage and his humanity emerged. And he brought others to me. In part, we seek to end the curse. The crimes committed against Zathrian's children were grave, but they were committed centuries ago by those who are long dead. Word was sent to Zathrian every time the landships passed this way, asking him to come, but he has always ignored us. We will no longer be denied.
We spread the curse to his people, so he must end the curse to save them.
Please, mortal. You must go to him. Bring him here. If he sees these creatures, hears the plight, surely he will agree to end the curse. If Zathrian comes, I shall summon Witherfang. I possess that power. I also have the power to ensure Witherfang is never found. Tell Zathrian this. If he does not come, curse, he will never find Witherfang, and he will never cure his people. I believe there is. There must be.
If there is no way, then he dies. Then they all die.
And we shall await your return. Outside of this chamber, the passage leading back to the surface has been opened for you. Return with Zathrian as soon as you can.
Ah, and here you are already. Did you? Aren't you the intuitive one? There was no way to tell what would happen once you reached this ruin, so I decided to come myself. Just so. Did you? So you wish to play games? I can sense you do not have it. Why are you leaving the ruin? There was no need. I knew you would find it, and I did not care to give you a history lesson about things that have no bearing on your purpose here. But it seems the spirit convinced you to act on her behalf. Might I inquire what she wants? You do understand that she actually is Witherfang? She is the powerful spirit of this ancient forest that I summoned long ago and bound in the body of the wolf. Her nature is that of the forest itself. Beautiful and terrible, serene and savage, maiden and beast. She is the lady and Witherfang both, two sides of a single being. The curse came first from her. Those she afflicted with it mirrored her own nature, becoming savage beast as well as human. I find that difficult to believe. They attacked my clan, and they were the same savages then that they have ever been. They deserve to be wiped out and not defended. Come, I will accompany you back to the ruin. Let us go and speak to the spirit, and I will force her into Witherfang's form. He may then be slain and the heart taken. Why? You claim they have regained their minds, but they are still savage beasts. Their nature is unchanged. All they want is revenge, or a release that I will not give them. No, let us take the heart and end it. You were not there. You did not see what they did to my son, to my daughter, and so many others. You are not Dalish. How can you know how we had to struggle to be safe? How could I have let their crimes go unanswered? I have sworn to protect my people, and I shall. I will not lift a finger to help the descendants of savages who deserved the curse they received. Tell me, if you held your own daughter's lifeless body in your arms, would you not also have sworn an eternity of pain on those who did such to her? Very well. You wish me to go and talk? I will do so. But what if it is only more revenge they wish? Will you safeguard me from harm? I fail to see the purpose behind this, but very well. It has been many centuries now. Let us see what the spirit has to say. So here you are, spirit.
She is the lady of the forest. You will address her properly.
You've taken a name, spirit? And you've given names to your pets? These beasts who follow you?
It was they who gave me a name, Zathrian. And the names they take are their own. They follow me because I help them to find who they are.
Who they are has not changed from whom their ancestors were. Wild savages, worthless dogs. Their twisted shape only mirrors their monstrous hearts.
He will not help us, lady. It is as I warned you. He is not here to talk.
No, I am here to talk, though I see little point in it. We all know where this will lead. Your nature compels it, as does mine.
It does not have to be that way. There is room in your heart for compassion, Zathrian. Surely your retribution is spent.
My retribution is eternal, spirit, as is my pain. This is justice, no more.
Are you certain your pain is the only reason you will not end this curse? Have you told the mortal how it was created? And so he did. Witherfang and I are bound as one being. But such powerful magic could not be accomplished without Zathrian's own blood. Your people believe you have rediscovered the immortality of their ancestors, Zathrian, but that is not true. So long as the curse exists, so do you.
No! That is not how it is! I did it for my people. I did it for my son and my daughter. For them, for justice, I would do anything.
The curse would not end with Zathrian's death. His life, however, relies on its existence. And I believe his death plays a part in its ending.
Then we kill him! We tear him apart now!
For all your powers of speech, you are beasts still. What would you gain from killing me? Only I know how the ritual ends, and I will never do it.
Ha! You see? We must kill them all!
See? They turn on you as quickly. Do what you have come here to do, Grey Warden, or get out of my way. Then you die with them. All of you will suffer as you deserve.
We have done
No
well.
more. I cannot defeat you.
Finish it! Kill him now!
No! Don't kill him! Please, lady, stop him!
No, Swift Runner. We will not kill him. If there is no room in our hearts for mercy, how may we expect there to be room in his?
I cannot do as you ask, Spirit. I am too old to know mercy. All I see are the faces of my children, my people. I cannot do it. Perhaps I have lived too long. This hatred in me is like an ancient, gnarled root. It has consumed my soul. What of you, Spirit? You are bound to the curse just as I am. Do you not fear your end?
You are my maker, Zathrian. You gave me form and consciousness where none existed. I have known pain and love, hope and fear, all the joy that is life. Yet of all things I desire nothing more than an end. I beg you, Maker, put an end to me. We beg you, show mercy.
You shame me, Spirit. I am an old man, alive long past his time.
Then you will do it? You will end the curse?
Yes, I think it is time. Let us put an end to it all.
It's over. She's gone, and we're human. I can scarcely believe it. We'll leave the forest, I suppose. Find other humans, see what's out there for us. It should be quite interesting, don't you think? Thank you. We'll never forget you.
It's begun.
Direct me.
It is done. The essence of the wolf's heart has banished all traces of cursed blood from the hunters. It is too bad that Zathrian had to die. I felt it when he departed. I think he was ready to go. It will be difficult to fill Zathrian's shoes. He was our keeper for many centuries, and he will be sorely missed. But I am keeper now. Let me say it officially then. I hereby swear to uphold the terms of the ancient contract our people formed with the Grey Wardens. Call, and we shall come, with great speed and purpose, and we shall strike at your foes. This I swear. It has been a long time since the Dalish marched to war, but I trust that in the end, we shall make a difference for you.
We are working hard to make enough equipment for all of the hunters. Our armaments will be superior to anything else you find on the battlefield. Truly, let me see. Yes, that is indeed iron bark, and a substantial quantity of it as well. Well done. An agreement is an agreement, and I will craft something from this wood for you. What would you like? A bow? Or perhaps a breastplate? Manuvinin, I will craft it myself. Watch if you prefer. It will not take long. And I've reformed the wood to my will. A Dalish longbow for you. May it serve you well.
You have returned. Is there any chance you have news of Delilah? But the curse has been lifted, has it not? Delilah could be out there in the forest, returned to her true form. Then I need to look for her. Thank you for doing what you could. Now it falls on me to find her.
I was just thinking about what happened to the elves, and I'm reminded to me my mother died, and this wise elven woman comforted me and told me that we shouldn't fear death or hate it. Death is just another beginning. One day, we must all shed our earthly bodies to allow our spirits to fly free. It's a beautiful sentiment, I think, one that brings peace and hope to the grieving.